Well, there you have it, folks. What do you think? This will be my new logo. Carly worked on this for actually weeks to get it everything just the way I wanted it, and I think it's awesome. I don't know if you can see all the little Easter eggs in here, but just to point out a few, got the 442 down here, got my bus right here. That's a little Stingray bicycle. That's actually the license plate on the 442, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's awesome. I think she did such a fantastic job, and I'm so excited to get a good picture of it. I'm going to frame that and get a good little circular picture for it to be the icon on the page. And ooh, I better put my little paperweights here so it doesn't blow away. So I'm gonna start a new video here. You know, you're probably tired of hearing me whine about how tough some of this stuff is, particularly with the editing. And something that I haven't even run into yet just happened to me. So this video is gonna be out a little bit late, and you'll realize that when you watch it. But my editing software decided to do an update, and I couldn't get into the my Apple account or whatever to do the update, and I'm still, as of right now, I still haven't done it. So I will get it figured out, and you'll be seeing this video. But anyway, in the meantime, I also had a problem with a video that I had started, and right when I was about to go get something for the ending of the video, that whole deal fell apart. So I can't really do that video right now. So I'm literally having to start and hope to do this all in one shot, maybe two, not one shot, but one afternoon, and maybe another tomorrow. We'll see. But I've got a pretty ambitious bicycle video I'm about to do right now. So I think that I showed you this bike at least partly in another video. This bike is essentially the same bike that I had when I was a kid, when I finally had upgraded from, you know, cheesy little huffies and stuff like that. I bought it from my brother. This isn't the exact one because that one's long gone, but this is the same thing. I believe I dated this as a 1977 or 78. It's a Schwinn Scrambler, and mine had a different seat. It had I had it set up differently. It wasn't factory, and so I built this one up to a different way because I just couldn't get a hold of all the parts. But those forks there, I had those, but they did not have the stickers on them when I had it. I had different pedals. I'm gonna stick with those, but mine had a gold front rim that was a spoke rim, and I had a mag rear wheel. And so I had V-bars instead of bars like that. And as I said, I had one of them hard plastic seats, much like that one right there. So, but I'm not going to steal that one from that bike, because that bike's actually 100% complete, and I got that from a friend. It's a little dirty and it needs to be cleaned up. But anyway, back to this one. So what I have planned right now is I'm actually gonna do a minor tear down on this one here and build it up to be closer to what I had when I was a kid. I'm gonna try changing the seat out and take the banana seat off, at least for now, and find a seat that's kind of red, but it won't be that hard plastic because I can't even sit on one like that. And I've got some V-bars that I'm gonna steal off of another bike and put on there. I had a different gooseneck or stem, as they call it now, that looked more like this guy here. I can't afford to get one of those. The gooseneck alone is like $700, so this will have to be the representation of what I had. But here's some more bike stuff. Now, that bike that I just pointed out, I don't know if I've talked about these ones. This is the exact same frame, but in blue. This one says Scrambler 3636. What that means is it's got a spoke rim. There's 36 spokes, and another spoke rim, 36 spokes. See how that works? This right here is a red one, same exact thing, and you can see the remnants of the sticker there. It's supposed to be a 3636. That one over there under the pad, it says Mag Scrambler. So they had the 3636 model, and they had the Mag Scrambler even though this had the sticker for 3636, I'm gonna put these mags on it. So a set of white mags on a red frame, and I think that will look cool. Here is the gold rim. Watch yourself. Here's the gold rim that I'm gonna put onto that bike over there. All right, and this is another story that I'll get to in a minute. Something else that I'm gonna try and get done in this video. So here's those V-bars. I'm gonna steal them off of that. That's an old Predator. This right here is a mongoose that I got at a bike show almost a year ago. It was last summer. It was just the frame. I put these forks on it as placeholders, and I put that sprocket. It's not really the exact correct sprocket, but it's pretty close to it. So I'm gonna leave that now because I don't have the correct one. But I got these mag wheels. Now this is what would be called a moto mag, and they're a little bit different, but these are pretty similar and they're pretty cool. They're vintage, and so I'm gonna put these on at least until I can afford the moto mag. Well, that's a little disappointing. Those are pretty much the same exact wheels that I thought were older vintage ones, and this is a pretty modern, I mean, I don't know, it may be late 90s or early 2000s, but it definitely a lot more modern mongoose than what I had previously thought. So I think I'll probably be looking to find some other wheels for the mongoose sooner rather than later. Oh well, can't win them all. I'm going to change these forks out. The forks that this is supposed to have is the ones off of that bike. And looky here, I've got another set right here. But I'm gonna take these ones here that don't have any stickers, because my bike that I had when I was a kid, I did not have any stickers on it. So I'm gonna take these ones here off of this frame, and I'm gonna put them onto that bike, and I'm gonna take those ones with the stickers and put them on that bike. You with me so far? Now, this bike right here, I got this from a friend. I bought it. They just weren't using it anymore, and they asked me if I would buy it, and I probably paid too much, but you know, it's to a friend, so it's okay. This bike here is essentially the same thing as a Schwinn Predator. So is this one here. The Schwinn Predators were made by Giant, which is most anybody in the bicycling world is familiar with that company. So they made a lot of frames for a lot of different bikes out there, a lot of different brands, and one of the brands that they made bikes for is called Kuwahara. Now most of the Kuwahara bikes, the upper high-end ones, the frames were made by Tange or Tangy, depending on how you want to say it, like what the sticker says on that other bike over there. I always said Tangy. The Tangy bikes were really nice, really good quality stuff, but the Giant bikes were also pretty quality stuff. They were just a little bit more I don't know, pedestrian, I guess you could say. So they made a bike though, it was their entry-level bike, and it was this frame here essentially, and it was called a Pantera. That's right, Pantera. So what I'm gonna ultimately do, and I'm not gonna do it all in this video, but I'm gonna build that one up to be a Pantera. Okay, that is, I gotta do a little bit of research to find out exactly what componentry that had on it, but I've got this really cool sticker that I'm gonna put on the head badge. I'll show it right here. Dimebag. And it's a Dimebag Daryl, kind of a cartoonized sticker. So I'm gonna put that right there, you know, guitar player from Pantera. It all has meaning. So that is something I'm gonna be doing. Now the reason I'm doing this frame and not that frame, because it's already broken down and kind of ready to build, there is one significant difference. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but this down tube right here, totally round, okay? This one right here, it's actually ovaled a little bit, and that just makes it a little more unique. I'm not really sure what the significance there is, if it's better. They're both pretty lightweight when you have everything stripped off of them, so I think that they might actually be chromoly. But anyway, that's why I'm doing that. Trying to go over all the stuff that I'm going to be doing. I found these pedals here for this bike. These are a lot newer. They're probably 90s, but they say Mongoose, so they work. The gooseneck or stem for the Mongoose, I got these bars. I think that I showed them in one of my other videos, and it's kind of the older school style stem. So, but this bike, I haven't dated what year it is, but the earlier Moto Mags would have come with that stem and those handlebars. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on here once I change the forks out. On the Scramblers, they also would have had a stem like that, only chrome, but I'm gonna probably, well, this one here, this one I found, I'm gonna keep this one on here. I don't know if it's actually a tough neck or a knockoff, but it can handle the better handlebars, and so I'm gonna keep that one on there. These wheels, they're blue. I don't know if they're the original ones, or the original what would have been on this bike, but I think they are. But I got them separately, so this bike is actually really close to the way it's gonna be. I do have these pedals here that are also blue, but even bent up like this, these pedals are probably worth more than this whole bike. All right, so I'm gonna start by taking the gooseneck off first, and handlebars. Ow. Came out nice and easy. So I believe that this right here, this top nut, is actually not the correct one. So I'm going to change that out. Got a few things that are not correct. That should not be slipping and sliding like that. So I'm going to have to, as I do this, kind of figure out certain things that I'd kind of slapped together in haste previously, and try and get it right. Everything done on this one before I move on to the next one. All right, as I was taking the forks off of this frame right here, those guys right there, I kind of discovered something here. I was moving this pad around and found that there's something underneath here. Let's see what it is. So whoever put this pad on here, I don't know what they were trying to do, but they basically put like some shop towel material type stuff. I don't know what that is. Is that shop towel? What is this? It's just some kind of material, but they covered up this, which is a pad, and it's a totally cool, like 70s style. I mean, I don't know if it's legit from the 70s, but it's a black pad that the snaps look like they're in incredible shape, and they were probably protected by being underneath that MCS racing pad. So that's really cool. That actually would be more appropriate on here, but I kind of like my checkered one, so I'll have to find a cool new spot for this, because it doesn't really fit what I'm doing with that bike. But I don't know, bonus, yay. All right, so another thing I wanted to point out is these forks here, I think the other ones are actually stamped in here, and they say Tangy, and these ones don't. These are they're pretty lightweight, so I'm still fairly confident they're chromoly, and they're otherwise the same. So I don't know, that's kind of interesting. But anyway, I'm gonna pop those up in there now. All right, good enough. There we go. All right, so you may be wondering why I am sitting there fighting this thing, being on the ground like this, instead of having it up on my bike stand that I'm sure you've seen in a previous video. Well, that's because that's the bike stand, and underneath that tarp that's laying over it is a very top secret project for the future. And you will be seeing that in a future video. So that's why I'm struggling on the ground here. I went ahead and changed out, or put the tire on the rim, I didn't take the tire off of the mag, and that's gonna make it not exactly match, because this wheel that's on here, it says Scrambler on it. See how that says Scrambler? Can you see that? Can you? Okay. And so the one on the front mag, it says that as well. This one does not, but it is the same exact tread pattern. And the reality of it is, I'm just doing this for the fun of it, to make it look like my childhood bike as close as I can. This hub is not the best. Now, I do have this hub here that I can delace this and put this hub into here. That is a long, arduous process. I got to change the hub out or change the axle out, and that's one of the problems. This hub, I don't think this axle is even correct for this hub. All right, so I'm in the bike room now, and I got something that I'm gonna try and take care of. So the hub on this gold wheel won't fit on the forks that are on the Schwinn. This hoop, it's an Araya. That's one of the top names that everybody always wants. So what I am going to do, rather than try and make this one work, I'm going to change the entire hub out. I do have another hub here. This one's actually nicer. It's actually a Redline hub. See the RL right there? This is really nice. Spins really nice. Really nice. And so this thing, I can feel the bearings in there a little bit chunky. These ones are super smooth, really nice. What if I heard that before? Anyway, so I think I'm gonna delace this, just see if I can be really careful to get these spokes to you know, be perfectly the same all the way around, which is what you want, so that everything's true. So I got my work cut out for me. Like I said, not gonna film any of that. I just wanted to kind of show you what's going on. One thing I did do while I was in here looking around for other stuff, found this guy right here. A nice little brake caliper. It's an MX 1000, but anyway, that nice little short tab, perfect for that mongoose. So that's where this one's gonna wind up. I just got to find the right washers and nuts for it. So at least something positive happened. Yay. All right, there we go. So that's one pretty darn true wheel. Got it in my antique truing stand. It actually works pretty well. You can see right in there how close that is, and watch when I spin this thing. That's as close to perfect as I can get it, and it's nice and straight and even on both sides. So if I got it any better, they'd have to pay me, or I'd have to pay myself. I don't know. Anyway, so that one's done. It's ready to go back on the bike. I'm pretty satisfied with how true and how straight that is, and so it'll be going back on the bike here momentarily. All right, just got to get a seat on it. Okay, I'm gonna change the seat out and the handlebars. Banana seat pretty well loosened up here. There's that. Look out. So like I said earlier, I had a completely red seat. I have essentially the same seat on a bike over there, but it's kind of buried, and I won't even be able to sit on that thing. So this seat's got some red on it. It'll work. This one isn't exactly going to be comfortable, but it'll be a little closer to what I once had, style-wise. I don't know how I ever rode with that hard plastic thing. I rode that thing everywhere, and even a young skinny butt, that thing sucked and it hurt. But it's what they had. That was the style. All right, so I did take these handlebars off of another Predator that I have. It's got the V-bars. The ones that I have were actually Redline V-bars. I'm sure that these are the Schwinn equivalent or knockoff, whatever. They're essentially the same thing. They have the same look, and that's what I was going for. And I just went ahead and took the whole gooseneck out of that other frame for the time being, and this is probably more appropriate to what this would have had. This would have either had a gooseneck similar to this, or possibly the skinny gooseneck like the old Stingrays had. I'm not exactly sure, because I think certain years got the older style skinny or little one, and then they upgraded to these eventually. So let me get this thing tightened up a little bit, and this will basically be done. Finishing touch here, the handlebar grips. I don't actually remember what I had on it the last time when I had it. They were something similar to these. I didn't have red ones, but if I'd been able to get red ones, I would have gotten red ones. So I'm gonna put red ones on. How about that? So give me a minute to get these on, and we'll take her out front. Well, there we have it. That's one of the 4 that I'm doing in this video. It's all but done, and this looks almost exactly like the one I had when I was a kid. Black mag in the back, gold anodized front, different pedals, but that's okay. Couldn't get the correct gooseneck that I had back then because, well, that would be worth more than the entire bike at this point. One other thing I didn't mention is the chain guard on this thing. I didn't have a chain guard back in the day. That was one of the first things you took off a bike, is the chain guard. They just weren't cool. So anyway, that is it. Like I said, this little guy right here, that's the same color as the gooseneck was that I had. That says tough neck and pro neck were the same. I don't know what grips I had, so these ones are just cool, and they go with the whole red theme. The pedals, same thing. I don't remember what pedals I had. I did not have red pedals, but I do now. One last thing to add to this thing, the piece de resistance, that guy right there. That, I did not have a badge on my bike that I had back in the day, and if it weren't for the fact that I found this unspoiled, never mounted, perfect red Schwinn head badge, I wouldn't put a head badge on this one. But this thing being red, being so perfect, I've got to put it on. Now I do have one little problem. I'm going to mount it on here so you can see what it looks like, but I'll ultimately take it back off, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So let me get that mounted on here real quick. One of the problems why I haven't already mounted it is the screw up in the upper hole here. Is that showing up? Yeah, the screw in the upper hole broke off in a previous lifetime, so I got to get a tiny little drill bit to drill that out and not screw the threads up. So I'm just going to mount it on with the lower screw because it goes in, just to show you what it looks like. And it's a very tiny little screw, so I have to be careful, and that's why I'm not doing it out in the grass like I typically do. All right, well, there we have it. What do you think? I think that looks so cool. I love it. All the red accents here and there, but mostly chrome, and then the gold ano, just to be nostalgic to what I had when I was a kid. Before I take this one for a ride, I'm gonna get the mongoose ready, and then the other 2 like this ready, so I can ride them one after another. Let me guess, that just stripped out. That would be awesome. Well, that's fun. So what has happened here is I tightened this thing down, and the little angle thing that's supposed to tighten it up, it stripped out on the end of this. I had taken this from a different gooseneck, and I noticed it wasn't holding it in there very tightly, and now I know why. So it's completely stripped out, so I have to come up with a new one of those in order to get that thing to sit in there tightly. I'm gonna go ahead and get the pedals back on, tighten that up just a little bit more, and I think I'll call it a night for that. that is essentially it. So I changed the forks out so that they've got the correct Tangi or Tongai 1200s with the sticker and the things. The overall look didn't change that much. I put those pedals on. I'll clean it up a little bit more, but this is essentially done. I just got to tighten a few things, and that thing is ready to go. And with that drain pipe style, I could actually sit on that thing and ride it reasonably comfortably. That seat doesn't look the most comfortable, so I'd probably have to change that out for any major riding, but this is a very cool bike. I'm not going to order stickers for it until I've had a chance to blow it back apart and really polish the heck out of it and see if I can get the thing to look the way it's supposed to. Because if it's worth it, I'll actually order a sticker kit and get it looking the way it should. I'll see if I can find a picture. If I can find a picture of what it's supposed to look like brand new, I'll put it right here. I probably won't ever really ride it a whole lot. It's still pretty small, but it'll be cool for around the cul-de-sac and have some fun. So, all right, I'm gonna call it a night and clean up some of this stuff for now. But before the video's out, I'm gonna get the red and blue one fully together the way I want them. So I'll probably do that now. I'll probably just kind of speed that process up. It's just a matter of putting what I want on there together. But if I get any of them to be riders, I'll ride them around the cul-de-sac a little bit at the end.
One eternity later.
All right, and there it is. It's like a scene out of my childhood. One friend had everybody over. We were all on the bicycles. Of course, the one nerdy kid had to have his on a kickstand, but you know, whatever. Here we go. Of course, the sun's going down. No street light at this end of the street, but the street lights will be on anytime, and everybody's got to get their butts home. But let's take a quick ride on a couple of these, all right? Well, what do you think? That's one. That's two. And that's three, and that'll be it. All right, so starting with this one here, this is the blue scrambler. I didn't get a chain on it, and the reason I stopped there is because the front tire, I had a hole in the tube. I patched it, pumped it up, and just as I got it all pumped up, so my patchwork did not work. So I stopped short of robbing a chain from another bike to get it all together because I wasn't going to be able to ride it, and I didn't feel like changing the tire out again, or the tube out again. So, but that's number one. So I had talked about this before. The serial numbers are right up here, and that'll tell you what the date is. So the next one is the red scrambler. What do you think of that? Red with white accessories. I think it looks really cool, actually. Found these white tires. They're nothing special, not high-end or anything, but they got the right look, and I think it looks pretty cool. But what I did notice when I was working on this thing, there's no serial number up here. And Schwinn had started putting the serial number up there in the fairly early 70s, and they didn't come out with this style until the later 70s. So it should have it there, and I don't know why it doesn't. I've looked on the bottom bracket to see if there's a number there. I've looked on the rear dropout, which is the last place that they would have put it. and nothing. So I don't know if this one just got forgotten to get the serial number on it or what, but kind of strange. Anyway, those forks are just some forks that I had. I think that they actually go to a little bit later model, a Predator or a Scrambler or SX500 or something along those lines. So they do the trick. The stem, that's just a repop. Those handlebars, I don't even know where they came from. The seat, all these seats, I can't even ride on a seat from back in the day, the hard ones. But you know, I just put it together the way I like it. Most everything's Schwinn. These cranks, that sprocket, that Schwinn. These mags are the mags that would have come on if this had been a mag scrambler. So it's all good. All right, on to the next one. This one's a legitimate mongoose from back in the day. These ones were the ones that, well, I wasn't really that huge of a follower. I didn't really care about the whole mongoose name, but they were one of the ones that all the kids wanted. And this one's pretty legit. That sprocket is not the snowflake sprocket that I will hopefully eventually get for this, but I saw another guy building one up and it had that sprocket on it, or at least one exactly like it, maybe a tiny bit different, I don't know, but it's a good enough placeholder. I found some cool pads that are totally the right kind of pads for this thing. I literally just a little while ago found the front one and stole the foam out of it to make that work. But anyway, on to the next. Now we're on to the bike that I built up to try and emulate how it was when I had it. I don't remember what kind of grips I had on it. I think they were well, anyway, they're red. They look cool. Got a seat that's got a little bit of red on it. What I had was more like this one here. You can see this is actually hard plastic, and that's why I didn't ride this bike, because that would probably just go right up my booty, and that ain't happening. So this bike, I know I didn't feature it in this video previously, and I can't remember if I've done some video on this, but I don't remember if I actually put it in one of my other videos. So if I did, here it is again. This is a late 70s Powerlite, and it truly is lightweight. I mean, even with the mags on, which are a little bit heavier in spokes, this thing's super lightweight. And I just built this thing. I bought this thing as the frame and fork only, and I built it up with all this other stuff, and I think it looks pretty cool. So I just figured I'd throw it into this video. So that is all the bikes right now. I'm gonna do a couple more what do they call that, well, just a few more moments of all of them setting up right here in a moment. But the whole point of this video was that most of the bike videos that I've done so far have been on like the old Stingray style bikes and things like that. I wanted to kind of segue into some BMX stuff. So those two scramblers, well, three scramblers, those bikes were almost kind of like a halfway between the Schwinn Stingray era and the straight-on BMX era. They got the rear of the frame is more like the Stingray as far as the dropouts, the way they are, but the front is more angular rather than kind of swooping, curving lines. And they're still really heavy, so they probably weren't very competitive back in the day. But you know, the chrome one that I had when I was a kid, I loved it. It was the best bike I'd had at that point, and it really hurt my feelings when that thing got lost. But anyway, and the Mongoose, they really were a legitimate BMX bike. They were tough as heck, but they were also very heavy, so I don't know how competitive they were in the BMX racing. But anyway, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow in the light and get a couple more shots of this, and that'll do it for this video. And there you have it. All right, so it actually ended up being a couple days later, just because it poured rain all day yesterday. So that is it. I appreciate all you guys who stuck with me this far. Hopefully you'll like the video, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so. So just quick summary on the bicycles. I haven't found out the actual date on this one yet, but it's a late 70s or very early 80s Mongoose. Supposed to be a moto mag. Now I kind of talked or said that, and I might have been a little bit confusing. The bike model was referred to as a moto mag, but the wheels that were on it were also just called moto mags. Like I said, these are good placeholders. This, I think I said it was a 78 or 79. It might even be a 77, but so whatever it is, that's what that is. This one, oddly enough, doesn't have a serial number. Now, there is some numbers on the badge here that I'm told those can be a way of finding out what the date is as well, but I don't remember how to read the code on that badge, and that's assuming that badge is the original one to the bike. This one here, it has the date, and that says, I think, KP. So that's what that is. That one does not have the numbers on the badge. But rest assured, they are all late 70s, if not maybe 1980 at the newest. And the Mongoose, that could be as much as an 81, I think. That has a different code on how you look that stuff up. That will do it. I appreciate you watching. I hope you like the BMX, or these ones I kind of consider kind of a transitional BMX. That one's legit BMX. I intend on doing more BMX videos in the future. I don't know exactly how long before the next one, but you know, I'll still do stuff on the older ones, like the old Schwinn's and Stingrays and things like that. Maybe I'll do a full-on full-size clunker. But I want to get some more of the BMX stuff, and I do have some higher end BMX stuff like GTs and stuff like that, so I'd like to do a build on one of those. So it's all coming in the future, and so stick with me, like, subscribe, share, all the things. And oh, and I hope you like the new logo that I had at the very beginning of it. I love it. It's awesome. Carly did such a great job, and hopefully I'll be able to get that thing actually up as the icon on the page real soon. And who knows, maybe I can be one of those cool YouTubers that has merch, and I'll get it on a shirt or a hat or something. So in the meantime, I appreciate it. Stay tuned.